press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students, welcome back to your social science class. Today we are going to deal with a fresh chapter, a new chapter, that is social and religious reform movements, the fifth chapter in your history section. Okay, you have a lot to learn in this chapter. We'll take it easy and we'll understand it in simple terms. Okay, even though it's not complicated, I have read the lesson. It's not complicated. It is easy. Certain things you'll have to remember, okay, certain names and certain movements, what they did, what kind of practices they didn't allow. So all this you'll have to study. So we'll just see a brief overview of what you're going to learn in this lesson. First you're going to study establishment of Brahmo Samaj and its reformation, okay, Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Then Young Bengal movement, establishment of Arya Samaj and their reformations, that is their changes. Reformations by Prarthana Samaj, then Satyashodak Samaj, Aligarh movement, Ramakrishna movement, Theosophical Society, Narayan Guru, Dharma Paripala Yogam and Periyar. Okay, so we'll go in detail slowly and understand each of the things properly. Okay. Now, what do you understand by reformation? Okay, think that first. What is reformation? Reformation is a change, something that you do new. Now, suppose you think your house is old. Okay, it's been 20 years now that you are living in the same house, and you would like to slightly change it. Change the front structure or whatever it is, you would slightly like to renovate it. So what are you doing? You are reforming the house. Okay, reforming. It is already formed. You are reforming it. Okay, renovating it. It's innovated. It's renovated. It is innovated. You are renovating it again, reforming it again. Okay. With other aspects also. Now, certain habits that you don't want, you try to change them. You try to understand what those that are already formed. Formation has happened. You want to reform it. Okay, change the form of it. Change the form of it, it becomes new. So here in this chapter, there were various people who have contributed to a lot to the society. Social reformation. Things were happening in the society which was not acceptable in its own way. Certain systems like child marriage, the Parda system, Sati system, okay, Devdasi system, not acceptable in the society. Women were not given equal status. Women were not given some respect. Okay, the Shudras were not given their own respect. The Brahmins were considered upper caste. Shudras were not even given proper dignity in the society, alongside with women. Problems are there everywhere. Now we have discussed the problems of India. Those are the greater problems that we have discussed. Though we have not dealt with society in deeper, but on an overview that's also related to the society. We dealt with corruption, terrorism, okay. All this, where is it happening? It's happening in the society. It's happening in and around us. So certain things have been there for a very long time. Now we don't find Sati system, Devdasi system, no, we don't find it very prevalent. Sati system is not there, it's abolished. Child marriage is also not acceptable, that is also prohibited, abolished. If those were the kind of problems at that time, the problems in today's society is way, way much greater than what it is in the past. We have studied the problems. Some of them are still prevalent, especially related to women. Why are women not empowered in certain areas? Why are women considered confined to the house? Why should women be told that you are better in the house and not outside? There are still people who have that mindset. There are still people who ask their wives to only stay at home and not let them go out. Very bad thinking of the society. Very bad perspective of men, some men. I'm not saying all, I don't want to focus on all. There are good people. There are encouraging and motivating men also. But we don't need their permissions or their ways of thinking. Okay, it's being independent. It's being dependent, not being dependent, but being independent on your own. But if you go to some rural areas, if you see all the women are in the house, all women are not working. Why a working woman is not accepted? Why in the past was a woman to jump into the funeral pyre of her husband when she became a widow, when her husband died? Though we don't practice it now, it's not there. Yet why it happened there? Why should a woman jump there into the funeral pyre? See, the problems at that time were different. But certain things are concentrating on the same aspect. Example, women. Women had to do there. Women are doing this now here. Problems related to the same gender. If we do a role reversal, men stay at home and only women work in the entire world, what's going to happen? What is going to happen? We are in a man-dominated society, we are in a patriarchal society. That mindset has to change. In the cities, it doesn't matter because everybody in the house is working and that mind is broad-minded. It's open. Certain areas, if you go to very rural or backward areas, still this idea is there. The girl is only fit to get married and look after the family. Can't she be balancing roles? She can be balancing roles, isn't it? She can be a wife, she can be a mother, she can be a partner, she can be many roles. Similarly, on the other hand, man is also playing many roles. But both man and woman are contributing to the society. But why do we become bad when we are contributing to the society? We are contributing good to the society. Man is working, woman is working, both are acceptable, both are understanding and both accept that this is the way it has to work. Yet why do we have problems in the society? Because there is one class of people that don't understand what is the necessity. Earlier there was child marriage. Okay? Child marriage was very prevalent. Families and parents thought that they are right in their decisions, okay, of getting their children married. They decided who they should marry, who their child has to marry. And sometimes there was also a practice that was very prevalent, that when the cradling ceremony was happening, they had assigned who is the future husband or the future wife. Though that doesn't happen now, but yet there are some families who still think in orthodox terms, who still think of the past, saying that parents' selections is the best, or parents' view of the boy or the girl is the best. It is still there. Not their parents don't allow their child to explore and select. So can you see the connections between those problems there and those problems now here? Though they have changed, maybe their way of dealing the problems may have changed, but a similar pattern is following. A pattern has followed. We may have given new names now. We may not have told child marriage. Okay? People marry at 18 and 19. I consider it still child marriage itself. Okay? At 18 and 19, there is no development, or it's not the age to take such a greater responsibility. There is a certain age assigned for marriage. Now the government has increased it to 21. Well done, it's appreciative. 21 is also still less. But because there is no development. 18 and 19 is a very young age. 18 and 19 you're supposed to study. You're supposed to go to college. You will have to take your roles. You'll have to become independent. Okay, 18 and 19 is not the time for marriage. Marriage also there is a certain time. Nothing should be hurried on. Okay, there they did it very soon in the past. Here we do it a little late, but we still consider that's okay. But I still consider 18 and 19 to be child marriage, though you are considered 18 and above as adults, because there is no development. Okay, so we are dealing with, in this lesson, we are dealing only with problems that have happened in the past and how they were reformed. What kind of societal problems were prominent? What kind of social reform movements happened? Who were those people who contributed into making these reforms better? Now, English, we were ruled by the English. Okay, their ideas were focused on. They made us realize that we are slaves. They colonized us. They colonized the Indians. Okay, and Indians had to work for them. The English had all the authority. The English had all power. You have learned in your history lessons. You know how the English captured. What are the fights that led to the capture of the territories in India? Okay, so English was trying to make India a civilized society. One way it is good. Though some of their practices were not good, but in another way, if you see a positive side, they have made us a civilized society. They have educated us. Okay, though English is termed to be a foreign language, we still accept it because it's general, everybody speaks. Okay, and English was not confined into one territory at that time. English was for everybody. But here now we don't accept English to be everybody. Those who speak English, they say you speak foreign languages. No, foreign language is important. At that time, they were not dividing them into they had not divided into particular territories. All English people spoke English, and it was for everybody. Now we have different regions, and different regions speak different languages, and that is why English is not acceptable by most of the people. They want their regional languages to be spoken. But I tell you, you must learn one of the foreign languages. You must understand them. We cannot be criticizing them. We must thank them for giving us a language. That's it. So that is the difference. There it was for everybody. Here now we are dividing ourselves among into different languages that we speak in India. Okay. So here basic reformation is how you are reforming the society, keeping away discrimination from its members. That is, you are not discriminating anybody when you are doing certain kind of reformation. Now, when this reformation happens, we will have to keep in mind the human values. We will have to keep in certain ideas that will not affect one community of people and prioritize another community. But we will have to keep in mind when we take up our roles and when we make up our reformations, we will have to not discriminate people, and we will have to do it on a basis where those values that are taught are applicable to all. Okay. Now, what is the basic aim of reformation is to give self-respect. Each individual of the society has to be respected on its own. Man or woman, anybody, respected for their roles that they do. Respected for the person he or she is. Okay. Reformation, people in the Reformation strived to do it, or reformist. Now, this 19th century that came, it was considered as the Reformation age in India, okay, and understanding, a new awakening, a new understanding in the history of India. We started to explore things, we started to understand our things. Now, in the other countries also, they also had a restoration age, okay, they had an age that made them understand certain things. Same way, here in India also, we had this age of 19th century that we understood. We awoke from what we had been doing in the past, and we realized that that is not what has to be done, and we will have to change what is to be coming in the future. So we were awakened. We were sleeping till now, but we are awakened now. Okay, and that is how we realized, okay, we got a realization that this is what we have to do, this is how we will have to change our society. Okay. Now, English education was prominent, though they started it for their own children there, yet the Indians also tried to get educated there. So when this English education started, okay, a new class of Indians were born. That is, when Indians got education in these English schools, a new community of Indians was created who were educated by the English. Okay. Now, what did they learn from this education that they got? Was they learned democracy, nationalism, equality, and finding roots in India. That is democracy. They learned how to deal with the people there. They learned nationalism. One country we will have to protect. They learned equality. That is, we did not discriminate but stay in equal rights and equal values for everybody, and started finding roots in India itself. They got educated by the English, and then they realized, okay, this is the society we are dealing with, and this is a society that is not acceptable. We will have to change it in some way. They started finding their own roots in India. They didn't go anywhere outside. They didn't want to work with the English there. Rather, they understood, because they were educated, they understood what is happening and what is not happening, what is wrong and what is right, and that is how they started to change. They started to find what is the deeper meaning, where is the problem, what is the root cause of the problem, and they started to find solutions keeping in mind the values that they have learnt. Now, the British also was interested in reforming India. Okay, now we cannot be blaming them that they colonized us and they did this. No, on the other side, see the good things that they have done. They have taught us what we have to do. They have left us with a lot of struggles, but certain things we adapt still by them. Why do we do a lot of industries? Growth of industries happened there, not here. Okay, industrialization. Certain concepts are derived from them. If we have to understand our education system, it's because of them. So certain things are to be appreciated. Certain things, yes, understood on the other side that India had to struggle to get independence and so many people fought. Okay, understandable. This is also to be understood. Okay. Now, they also had an interest to reform India. They also had an interest to make India better. Okay. You see in terms of education, you see in terms of growth of industries, you see in terms of people getting jobs. Okay. Though, now let's see it on a positive side. Let's not see it on a negative side. Okay. Negative aspects are there. They were considered slaves and then they were given a lot of trouble. But on the other hand, they also they gave certain posts for Indians were given, though they were not given higher ranks. Higher authorities were all occupied by the English. But whatever was below them was given to the Indians. Okay, so Indians also had a role to play in whatever the British did. Whoever was there at that time also had a role to play there. So every Indian has also contributed to what they have done, and every British has also contributed to what we have done. Now they put this theory of white man's burden. I want you to understand this white man's burden. It was coined by Rudyard Kipling. Okay, this term was coined by Rudyard Kipling. Now this was white man's burden. Okay, basically meant that whatever responsibilities was taken by the English, whatever responsibility is taken by the whites, the British, okay, to civilize people or to frame laws or to govern them, okay, take it in such a way and give it to the Indians to make them civilized people or make them disciplined people, make them understand what is necessary. Alright? So white man's burden, the burden that the white man was taking on, they have transferred it to making people civilized there and making them understand what are the aspects of governance, maybe what are the aspects of education. are the factors that are there in ruling the place or the territory that is there. Okay? Now, the English believed that it is their duty to do what? Duty to civilize or make Indians understand that you have to grow on your own. You have to learn the civilization, art of civilization. You will have to become civilized class of people. Okay? Not people who are here and there simply wavering and enjoying whatever is given to them. No, not like that. But in a way where you are disciplined, you understand, you are focused on what is to be done. Civilized class of people, not like uneducated brats. Okay? But contribute and understand. If you don't know, keep quiet. If you know, contribute. That's the only basic simple idea. Okay? If you have seen, there is a saying, okay? Empty vessels make more noise. Okay, it's a proverb. Empty vessels make more noise. They don't know anything. Know nothing. But do like they know everything. Okay? They know nothing, but do like they know everything. That is, I don't have a clear picture in my mind what it is about, but yet I believe and do it in such a way that I know everything. Okay? Especially, you can see in the society, okay, what is happening in and around us. People who are ruling, people who are governing, certain people are good. Leave them, apart from them. Little knowledge is always bad. Little of everything is needed, but little knowledge of what you actually need is very bad. Either you know it fully or don't know it at all. So English was trying to make the Indians civilized. That is, you need to know how you have to do, just like what we did. And you learn for yourself. Those educated class of people by the English, they learned what is the art of ruling them, what is the art of doing things there. How we have to behave, how we have to take on things that are necessary for the development of our country. What should we do and what shouldn't we do? What shouldn't be done, I'm sorry. What shouldn't be done. Okay? So that is how. Now, see, British also had its own ideas. They disguised people or they tempted people into entering into something, saying, or disguising people in giving them treaties, giving them theories, and pacifying them for whatever it is there. Saying that, okay, this is a theory, we'll give you this much. Now you have studied in your previous history lessons. They signed alliances, they signed treaties. What was done? Promises were done. But once it was signed, those treaties were signed, those promises were not fulfilled. Those promises were left half-handedly. Alright, I hope you're getting my point. Now, what did they specify in these alliances or these treaties? We are going to give you this much, or we are going to take care of you, we are going to take responsibility of whatever is happening to you. But on the other hand, what did they do? They couldn't take responsibility, or they refused to take responsibility of what was happening to the Indians. So here, when they gave this theory of white man's burden, they also disguised the people, the Indian people, into believing that they are going to help them in economic and political views, and that British is interested in economic and political views. Rather, they were not. Why will they contribute to the economy of our country? Okay, why will they contribute to the democracy and fulfillment of nationalism in our country? Why would they need equality among us? Alright? So there is a compare and contrast always. There's a good side, there's a bad side always. If there is good, there is always bad. So we cannot be blaming them always, okay? You'll have to also take good things. But on the other hand, this is how they disguised people. This is how they fooled people into understanding that these theories will help you. Here this theory helped, or they showed the Indians in such a way that We are going to help you in economic aspects, we are going to help you in political aspects, we will help you everything that the society will function better. But the society didn't function better. The society had to keep its own role. The society had to take on its role. Indians had to take, the educated Indian class had to take on its role and make people understand that this is how what has happened to us and this shouldn't be happening in the future. So somebody had to come front, isn't it? Somebody had to lead the crowd. Somebody had to be there to make other people understand that this is not the way it has to be done and this is the way it has to be done. Sometimes they fail to understand. That failure has made them lack many things. Now, lack of certain things has also led to many other aspects, many other problems in and around the society. Okay? I hope you are getting my point. Now, once they started to guise them in this theory or disguise them in this theory, these Indians were there. When educated class of people were there, they started to make them understand what is the Indian tradition, why we will have to keep the Indian unity that is there, why we will have to get together to preserve our community, why will we have to get together to be united as one. Why should we do that? Okay, so Indians started understanding the traditions there, Indians started understanding the perspectives, Indians started understanding the values that are very important that in order to survive as a community. And if our community doesn't last, if our community is going to go away, then we will be broken. We cannot afford to break. We cannot afford to break up the community. The community has to come together. Only when we stay together, we understand each other, there is peace and harmony. When there is no peace and harmony, there are fights, there is violence, and violence will never make a society better. Love, peace, care, harmony will make the society better. We emphasize on peace and justice and harmony. But on the other hand, we are also violating the rules and we are also creating violence. Why is that each individual not understanding many things that are needed in the society? Especially of peace and harmony and love. Where is love? Love is not there. Peace is not present. Harmony is not at all there. Okay. So, to deal with these problems, the Indians understood that we will have to take on a role, and a new class of Indians was brought out. Okay, people came to know and understand that we belong to India and we have to be called as Indians. We belong there. We will also have to get an identity that is there, and our identity matters. Now, if you go to a foreign country, okay, and people of other countries are there along with you, how will you identify yourself? You will introduce your name and you will say, I am from India. Okay? Similarly, there will be people other ways. They will introduce their own countries. Now, why do you say, I am from India, I am an Indian? Because you get that identity. Because you get that understanding of being a community there. Now, everybody, I have had this experience, everybody used to proudly tell about their country, and I also told I am an Indian. Okay, so we are deriving that understanding. We are deriving that name that we there. Here in the past, Indians started to understand that we should be a community and we should understand our identity, and they try to call themselves as Indians. Okay. Now, many communities here were left out, especially the Shudras. I told you the lowermost class. Okay, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas and the Shudras. They were also Panchamas. I have referred to this in one of your classes. These lower classes along with women were neglected in the society. They were kept away, thinking that they are of no use. They will not contribute to the society in any way. But each one has their own role to play. Only if we realized that how women and these people were considered as Shudras would help the society, if we realized it, it should have been a better place to live in. But we didn't realize it. We considered these Dalits and other people as very low, that they didn't understand anything. Why will they not understanding? Everybody has a mind to think, isn't it? Why will they not understand? Even today some villages still practice. I have seen some villages still don't allow the Dalits to come inside. or the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes to come inside their house, and they also practice it. Okay, I'm not telling about the people in the house, but those people also, they don't want to come inside the house. They will tell, no, 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 we are going to sit outside and eat. You give it in a, give food in a banana leaf. You don't give it in the plate. They themselves ask. Okay, and the people who are giving them food, the people who are handing them things also do it in the same way. Why is it to be done like that? What is going to happen if they are going to eat in the plate? Or what is going to happen if you give in their hand? Nothing is going to happen. There is no problem at all. They are also human beings after all. I have seen this. It's my own experience I am telling. Those people refuse to come inside your house. Okay? I have seen in one of the place, those people refuse to go into that house. And the people in the house there also, they are acceptable with what they are telling. Though this perspective has to change, okay? They themselves should not think that, okay, we are scheduled castes and scheduled tribes and we should be practicing this. That world has gone now, it's over. Though that kind of thinking will only develop if we get educated in all these aspects. Alright? Now, to do all this, many movements, many aspects that were there were contributing to other communities in the society. Alright? So, what are the movements and how they have contributed? Who were the reformers? What kind of social reformation has happened? We will all study that in the coming class. Okay? So, today was a long introduction other than what I give for my regular classes. But I wanted to tell you this. Okay? You must think, you must question yourself. Always questioning yourself is very, very important. Okay? Any aspect, anything that you do, you are answerable to yourself first and next to the other. Okay? So, questioning yourself, thinking about certain things is very, very important. Today I give you a homework, make an analysis of what are the problems in the society or in your neighborhood. If there are problems of discrimination, are women kept away? Are women only confined to the house? Okay, or are girls told not to go out here, not to do this, not to do that? Boys are not supposed to cry. Okay, make a list of these things and you analyze it. Though we cannot meet now, you start analyzing it for yourself. Okay, one day when we get a chance to meet, we can still sit and discuss what are the things to be done and not to be done, which is right and not right, which is acceptable and not acceptable. Make an analysis for yourself and keep in your hand and keep in your mind, because you shouldn't have this perspective when you grow. Okay, when you're going to go into the future, you shouldn't be having this perspective of inequality, discrimination and other things. Alright, so this is my message for you in today's class. Thank you students for listening. I shall see you in the next class.